this picture at the bottom of the screen is triggering me. You got they popping champagne like they won a championship game. Like I'm very triggered by this. Like they came up off Black Death. Look at them. Look at this shit. And then if you call it out, they're going to say that you're with the right wing because you mad at 3 Black women. See, that's how they use. That's the identity politics getting used against us for doing the collective Black politics, which is still identity politics. But when you start breaking up our people apart, that will happen. But you have these 3 women here popping champagne and like $1 million home, right? They won a championship with all the people whose family and people that lost their family members on, like for the reason for the movement. Like Joey said, a lot of them still live in the ghetto. The Black condition is not changing. They're not doing anything to, it's not like they did something, like they got a law passed and they got popping champagne. They got reparations passed. Let's have fun. No, they just like, we came up type shit. Look at this shit. Shit like basketball wives. Like this shit is really triggering, man. This shit is really disgusting. It like basketball wives. Like, what? We on TV now off of Eric Gardner and them. Like, what? Like these kids that died, women that died, you know what I mean? Children that died, men that work for their family that died. And then these people was all innocent. Like all of the deaths, we all seen it on camera. Like, all right, that's all. This shit is, I saw.
That's real talk, though.
We went from Freddie Gray to Breonna Taylor. Like, we can name the names. And like, again, I don't mind people organizing. I don't mind people collecting donations. But if you ain't gonna put that money back into the fight, you just stealing from the poorest people in America.
I also wanted to add, if nobody else is going to jump in on this, is that they even had time in the middle of all this during, I believe it was the latest election for Alicia Garza, to jump in and try to challenge Ice Cube.
You know, we're in the midst of an incredible movement moment. Folks are all over the country, have been organizing for over 7 years, if not longer, trying to turn Black Lives Matter into a movement that can impact not just protest, but also policy. I did have a chance to read both versions of the contract with Black America, and I'm just curious, are there activists or organizers in this movement that you've been connected to who have been doing some of this legislative advocacy and policy advocacy work?
Yeah, we connected with ADOS, and we helped get a bill passed in California. Governor Gavin Newsom passed AB 3121, which starts the conversation about reparations in California. We have been connected with, a grassroots organization. We want to connect with as many grassroots organizations who are not connected to any other so-called powers that be, strictly grassroots. And we definitely want to connect with them, people who definitely have no ulterior motives, who really just want to see money get in the hands of the people who built this country and the ancestors and family of the people that built this country.
Do you think that Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization?
I believe it was the latest election for Alicia Garza to jump in and try to challenge Ice Cube, which is another conversation for another day. But my point is that they, instead of tending to the bigger issues and tending to what they should have been doing or allocating these funds to the other organizers that were truly actually probably maybe doing the work, she spent her time on MSNBC and other news affiliations or news stations, news channels, basically, in my opinion, just being seen, and saying how she needs protection now and all this other stuff. And Sam said something in the beginning too about these houses, about that they needed all this protection. And after she said that, and I believe that Killmonger was reading, and it said that the parking would accommodate like 20 cars or something like that. So I'm like, if you need protection, why would you need something that lavish, that big? I mean, it's a rhetorical question. We already know the answer. They didn't need it. But I'm just making the point that they had time to do all of this, everything you can think of, except do right by our people. And I think they need to pay. That's just me.
Turn the mansion into a WeWork. For real.
But look at this. Look at this shit. Like, just what? Like, just
It's
look at
ridiculous.
Just see it. Look at the picture, guy. Look at this picture. This is Black Lives Matter, the organization that started when was it Trayvon that got killed? That was the first big one, Trayvon.
It's Trayvon. Yep.
So multiple Black men, women, and children have got killed on camera unjustly. And nobody has really received any kind of justice. People was getting off, police is getting, we already know who got them. Zimmerman got off, and the cops that killed Trayvon. Remember the guy that was running for child support? You know, they shot him all on his back. That cop, I don't know if he did some time, but they still slapped him on the wrist. He ain't got life. He ain't in an electric chair. Like, you know what I mean? And then you had a whole groundswell of people. It was really a collective community. They had some white people, but I feel like it's still but still at the end of the day, none of the real goals of why BLM really came together. We ain't got no real criminal justice reform bill. If you want to keep it flat black, which we're not with, but if you want to, you're not even fighting for no flat black shit. The fuck is y'all doing? And you feel like nobody has really gotten justice. Like, our condition is getting worse. We're going to be at zero wealth in 2053, but they over here popping champagne.
I just want to address the fact real quick. At 2050 is closer to us than 1990.
And technically with COVID, it's been projected that it's actually been spread or jumped ahead to 2030, actually. I think we have like maybe 8 or 9 years, if not already, at zero wealth.
Yeah. Wow. It's wild.
All right, let's get through this article then. So the residence was purchased with the intention for it to serve as a housing and studio space for recipients of the Black Joy Creators Fellowship. BLM GNF board member, these names, Shalamaya Bowers told the magazine in a statement Friday. The foundation had always planned to disclose the home's legal filings this May, and it doesn't serve as anyone's personal residence, Bowers said. But the statement did not spell out why little content has been produced there over some 17 months, if in fact it was intended to be a creative space, according to the report. But yeah, little content's been produced. I mean, where is BLM on like the YouTubes? Why don't they interact with humans? Honestly, like, how do you get at BLM?
Can you mute the pictures and just put the words up, man? Because this is like they celebrating the 1 year anniversary of George Floyd's murder. Like we know that he descended from slavery, and we all know the story that his family got property stolen from him. A big thing that Sam talk about. Like Sam talk about this all the time, where like people you literally come to your land when it was Penny's time, when it was Black Coat's time. When it was real penniest Black Coat's time, they just come to your land. I'm taking your shit. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to take your shit, or you're going to die. They just took his family's land. They're not celebrating because they got his family land back. At the very least, fuck the settlement for it. No, they need to get everything back. They celebrate on this man 1 year anniversary death, and nothing has changed for Black America. And they fucking celebrate, man. This is like, all right. I'm muting up for the rest of the night. I'm muting up.
I got you.
Rest of the night, I'm muting up. I want to hear y'all.
I got you. This is where it gets interesting. Okay, so one nonprofit organization expert said the sheer size of the buy might subject BLM to more criticism about its lackluster transparency. That's a very legitimate critique, Candid co-founder Jacob Harold told the outlet. It's not a critique that says what you're doing is illegal or even unethical. It might just be strategic. Harold, who helped create a service that tracks US nonprofits, questioned whether the funds could have been better spent elsewhere. Why aren't you spending it on policy or, other strategies that an organization might take to address the core issues around Black Lives Matter? Harold asked. I asked that too. The property was acquired in furtherance of BLM's mission, as well as for any ancillary usages needed, Bauer said in a statement to the Post Monday. The organization always planned to disclose the property on the upcoming 990 due to May 15th as part of BLM GNF's ongoing transparency efforts. Bauer's statements continued. BLM GNF has and continues to utilize the space for programming and leadership offsites. The property does not serve as a personal residence, but at least one activist in Missouri says he was dismayed upon learning of the complex in California. It's a waste of resources, Ferguson activist Tori Russell told New York Magazine. My words. That's the end of the article.
Listening to Reset Race, you're now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race, you're now tuned in to Reset Race. What? Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them, put them back on the grill again. We grilling them, put it back on the grill again. We grilling them, back on the grill again. We grilling them, You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. We focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake. Lineage go back to US Southern plantations. Lineage, Jim Crow and mass incarceration. Redlining lynchings, we are old from this nation. You're not about justice if you ain't for reparations. MG the wise one, cousin mother intellectual. Samantha bringing fire, anti-black, we pressing you. No permanent friends and no permanent enemies. The backbone of the country to win. You need our energy. You gon' see. Listening to Reset Race. You now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Back on the grill again. We grilling them. You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. We focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake.
Until you do right by me, everything you think about is gonna crumble.
Join us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Reset Race Network.